The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
I'm Bob Sullivan, host of AARP's The Perfect Scam. This next episode will make you think twice before booking your next vacation.
Cancer during COVID was tough. We needed something to look forward to. So I look on Craigslist and, oh my goodness, this house looks perfect. Emails go back and forth. We do a wire transfer.
The crooks are always experimenting, figuring out what works. The crooks are always innovating.
Subscribe to The Perfect Scam podcast today.
Want to hear some inside scoop? If your kids are as ready to go back to school as mine are, you gotta check out Kohl's. I got my daughters the cutest Sotoks for under $18, JanSport backpacks for 25% off, and 30% off Levi's jeans for me. I even saved an extra 15% and picked up Kohl's cash. So, yeah, not sure who's more excited right now, me or the girls. Select styles, 15% offer ends August 15th. Levi's coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details. Want to hear some inside scoop? If your kids are as ready to go back to school as mine are, you gotta check out Kohl's. I got my daughters the cutest Sotoks for under $18, JanSport backpacks for 25% off, and 30% off Levi's jeans for me. I even saved an extra 15% and picked up Kohl's cash. So, yeah, not sure who's more excited right now, me or the girls. Select styles, 15% offer ends August 15th. Levi's coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
Now I believe these are the dog days of summer. I think we tried to bring them up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I believe now these are now considered the dog days. We're in August. Apparently it's just going to be hot for like a month around here, which I'm not complaining because I hate February.
Doesn't look... Weather's been rather mild lately. Are we expecting another heat wave?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes me tense because it just equates to money now. Like, as an adult, you know, as a kid, you're like, hot weather. Yes.
Even as an adult, I'm like, hot weather, yes. Dude, I hate the wintertime. I hate it so much. I hate being cold. I hate driving in the fucking snow. I hate everything about winter. I would rather live in a climate where it's like August all the time.
Maybe if I could move to some place that was a little less extreme, but I need the change of the seasons. I don't know if I'd want to live any place where it was like consistent climate all the way through.
Yeah, people who have moved from climates like this to other climates do say that's something they miss. My ex-wife said when she lived out in California, she missed the seasons.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on this week, huh? We start the podcast talking about the weather.
Yeah, right.
How about this weather?
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
I know. It's tough finding, lately it's been tough finding stuff that fits in what I like to call the sweet spot for this show. Because, it's not so serious that it's going to derail our usually lighter topics, but not so light that it's not even worth addressing.
Right.
And it's like, that seems to be all the news. All the news is dire or completely useless.
That's generally how the news is.
Yeah.
It's felt like it for the last year. We're all going to die, or here's a squirrel water skiing.
Well, speaking of rodents, though, there's some chipmunks, I guess, in the Lake Tahoe area that have tested positive for plague. So There's some fun news.
How the fuck did the plague even make a comeback?
Yeah, what is the plague?
Who's fucking the chipmunks, by the way?
Well, no, so yeah, it's not, nobody's fucking the chipmunks.
Hey, they told us that's how we got COVID.
Bacterium Yersinia pestis. And so what, like, is a plague just something that just floats around and only pops up in the news when it occurs in species that live near man?
Well, and how did we find this out? Hey, those chipmunks look like they have the plague. We should test them. I mean, how did we even come to learn this? What does one look like when they have the plague?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out here.
Well, it's another reason to avoid California. Oh, no, wait, you said Utah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say. It says you can get you can catch the plague through flea bites or contact with the tissues or bodily fluids of an infected animal. Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, a flea bite might.
But again, how'd they get the plague?
I think you're going to have to Google that one. Right. I mean, we use it so euphemistically now that it's kind of lost any kind of meaning. Well, the Minnesota Department of Health has a plague fact sheet. It's caused by a kind of bacteria.
Because why not?
Spread from rodents to humans. Up to 2,000 cases are reported each year worldwide. Here we go. Symptoms of the pneumonic plague include high fever, chest pain, cough, shortness of breath, and coughing up bodily fluids or mucus. And they recommend antibiotic treatment within 24 hours, or the patient can go into shock and die.
How did we know these chipmunks had it? How did we know to test for it? That's my big looming question. Hey, look at those chipmunks. We should test them for the plague.
Yeah, I don't know. That very well could be. You know, they might have found a larger number than usual of dead chipmunks lying around, and they test them and they go, oh shit.
Oh, okay, I could see that. And what a shitty job if you have to keep an eye on the chipmunk death rates. You got to really love nature and animals.
Well, I think that stuff like this would probably be still rather rare, and most of the time you're just sitting there watching chipmunks. That sounds all right. Although I'm sure there's,
Squeakquel?
There's got to be a lot more to the job than that. There's not like one ranger. Like, your job, just watch these chipmunks. Make sure they don't get plague.
Well, I mean, probably somewhere like you walk the land and look for animal carcasses or anything strange or something like that.
Yeah. I think you're a ranger and you're in charge of a certain part of the land and everything that happens in there.
Well, I'm sure the media will be, nice, even, tempered, balanced reporting. There won't be any salacious headline like the plague is now in Utah or anything like that.
Whatever the headline is, it'll be pushed aside with some outrage.
That's true.
The latest being cross-dressing Muppet babies.
Oh, God. What now? What? Cancel culture, you've jumped... Cancel culture, you've jumped the shark. Outrage culture, you've jumped the shark. What are people mad at now?
Fox News is reporting that Candace Owens is one among many who are upset over a episode of the Muppet Babies cartoon. So I guess this would be the new Muppet Babies cartoon. This aired last week on Disney Junior, and the character of Gonzo wants to attend the ball. So it's the Cinderella story out of nowhere. No,
it's a real story.
It's with Gonzo instead of Cinderella.
And so
it's actually called Gonzarella.
Aren't we from the generation that would watch Bugs Bunny dress up in drag? What the fuck is she mad about?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he wants to wear a dress to the big ball, and he's told in the show that, like, no, he's a boy, he can't wear the dress, and he's like, that's some bullshit, and he gets a dress anyway.
Okay, well now
and shows up.
See, now I was about. See, now I'm in the middle on this, because I was about to say if she has ever seen an episode of Muppet Babies in her entire life, talk about the old one too, the show was all based about shit that went down in their imagination. Like, it was a hostage situation. They were all locked in the nursery all day with not a lot of shit to do, and it would be about them getting lost in their imaginations.
Yeah.
Now, if they had just
it was about them ripping off popular movies in their own head.
Yes. Now, in this new one, if they had to tag it with a lot of that woke bullshit you just said, now my eyes start rolling.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen it, but this is how the Fox News story reports it. Or actually, it says Vulture reported last week, Disney Junior aired an episode. Let's see. The other characters were attending a royal ball. Although Gonzo wanted to wear a dress, two characters that say that boys are supposed to wear night costumes. However, a fairy rat father grants Gonzo's wish to become a princess. Later in the show, the Piggy character tells Gonzo, "We met the most amazing princess."
So now it sounds like back to imagination.
Right.
So
he wanted to be Cinderella for the ball, and he got his chance to, and his friends treated him like he was a princess. I mean, I don't know. By saying... The thing is that when people like Candace Owens frame this as like part of an agenda, I kind of need you to point me to the wounded party here.
Well, also, there's other...
show me the kid that turned trans just because Gonzo wore a dress and no other reason.
Also, there are many legitimate things with an agenda that you can pick on, rather than having to... This reminds me of, like Trump with the fish. Right? Like,
I don't remember his fish.
No, remember when he was feeding the fish?
And, right.
And social media made it into something it wasn't? Like, to me, this reminds me kind of like that situation. Like, she's got... They made
it like a big faux pas, like, oh my God, you're not supposed to feed the fish, and how did he not know that? And then it turns out that his host fed the fish first, and he was just following suit.
Yeah, and then remember, too, the gift that kept going around was him at the end just dumping just trying to get the rest out of the box.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, look at him. He's so disrespectful when he can't even feed fish right. No, it was the last 3 seconds of what he did, for starters. And yeah.
And why do you care about any of this?
Yeah, but the whole point that you and I were making was you don't have to manufacture, he'll give you something. You don't have to. And that's what I'm saying with Candace Owens. There are plenty of things out there right now with an agenda. You don't have to, like, put an agenda in shit that doesn't have an agenda.
You do if you need to generate content on a daily basis. You can't sit around and wait for the things to happen. You have to find the outrage.
Well, I realized when I finished that sentence, I was like, the news does that every day. All news outlets, doesn't matter what political party they're catering to, all news outlets do that every day.
So it goes on to describe this episode. Later on, Piggy apologizes. "Oh, Gonzo, we're sorry. It wasn't very nice of us to tell you what to wear to our ball." Another character adds, "You're our friend, and we love you any way that you are." I don't see this as, like, generally all that radically different from the content of the cartoons that we watched as a kid. It wasn't stamped across the face of it, like message coming in for a landing.
Well, that's the thing is, when we were kids, there was things like, I don't know, subtlety. Now everyone just wants to hit you over the head with a sledgehammer. Like that's where I think the generations bristle up against each other. Is like you don't have to do it that way.
Right, and the part that I just described at the end of this episode, that would have been at the tag at the end, where they were like, remember, accept your friends for who they...
Yeah, it would have been in the last 30 seconds of the show. You're right.
Where they point at the screen, and they have a really quick scene where somebody, wears a shirt and his friends make fun of them, and they're like, don't make fun of your friends. Let them wear what they want.
Yeah, but everybody's got to be woke now.
Yeah.
Even the fucking Muppet babies. Jesus Christ. Can't we just watch TV? Like, that's what Rich and Earl and I found ourselves saying the last couple of years with sports. Can I just watch a game? Can't I just turn on the TV and watch men give themselves brain damage every Sunday?
Well,
can't I just do that like I used to? If I want to watch the news, I'll watch the news. I just want to watch a football game. Stop getting your chocolate in my peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, He-Man. That's the other one that they're all outraged about.
Well, we talked about this on our podcast, Rich and I, but Rich was pissed off for a whole different reason you would think he would be pissed off about.
Well, people are pissed off because they think they're calling the show a bait and switch, right?
Yeah,
so it's part Masters of it. The show is called Masters of the Universe, and He-Man dies in the show.
Spoiler alert, real quick, people. Yeah.
Right. He-Man dies, and and Teela doesn't, and Teela's a major part of it's really more Teela's story than it is He-Man's story.
Well, I guess what Rich is upset about is the fact that somebody pretty much called this in a press conference with Kevin Smith when they were talking about it. He denied that it was going to do it, and then he ended up doing it. Like somebody basically said, like, hey, you know, I'm paraphrasing, you know, in the current climate that we're in, you know, what's to stopping you from maybe, say, killing off He-Man and making this all about Teela? And then he went on this rant about, you know, he's going to be, you know, everything he's done. He's a comic book guy. He always stays true to the stories, this, and that, blah, blah, blah. And he wouldn't do that. Smash Cut 2, that's exactly what he did. And that's why Rich is mad.
Okay, well, but two things then, and not to, you know, argue against Rich when he's not here. I'm not trying to, you know, slag on his opinion of it, but the first thing is, what would you expect any artist or, you know, anyone involved in representing the work do in that situation? Go, you caught me, that's the whole plot, and now nobody needs to tune into the show, right? Like, he's kind of got his back up against the wall. The other thing, though, is that we don't know that is the whole story, because the way that Netflix releases things now is they still do the dump, but they just break that one season into two. So the other half of the story is yet to come.
From what I've heard, He-Man and Skeletor are both dead. And if you're going to do a Masters of the Universe reboot without He-Man and Skeletor, what are you doing? I mean, I was a huge fan when I was a kid. I had all the toys. Just make it a Teela series, or just do a She-Ra reboot.
Well, they did. That's something different. But they, you know, and okay, here's the third point then. This has been done many times over with many other properties, and happens eventually to every property that lasts long enough. How many times now has Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, I could go on and on. They've all died.
Dead?
They've all died, some of them multiple times. They've been removed from the story temporarily so that they can put a little bit more focus on some other characters and build those up. And then they bring back Iron Man, and it's a big fucking on your left moment when the heroes come back together. And that's, I guarantee you, it's exactly what they're ramping up for this. You know, Teela, I haven't watched this show at all yet. When Netflix falls into my rotation again, I get enough shows racked up that I'll watch. I'll pop for a subscription and I'll watch it. But I guarantee you, you know, He-Man dies. The story goes to Teela. Teela finds a way to bring He-Man back. He-Man comes back. They work together to defeat whatever it is they have to defeat. That's what's going to happen. This story, it's happened over and over again. When they killed Batman, Robin, or then Nightwing, stepped up to take over the mantle of Batman. Damian, Bruce Wayne's son, took over the mantle of Robin. That lasted for a year, while the real Batman, who everyone thought was dead, is actually trapped in time. And eventually, Bruce Wayne comes back, and what happens? He's fucking Batman again. And everybody stopped crying. And then now everybody talks about how great that team of the Nightwing version of Batman and the Damian version of Robin was. And they were. It was a different take on Batman, but they were really, really great books. And I still go back and read those.
Isn't that where Batman started down the dark and gritty path?
No, this is way before that. This is way after that. You know, Dark and Gritty was like early 80s. This was around 2000. Well, no. 2003, I think, is when Grant Morrison started writing his Batman run. That's when he did all this killed off Batman.
One of the few and probably only comic book covers I remember from the late 80s when he was holding Robin, when Robin got killed.
Yeah.
Was that the Dark and Gritty Batman?
That's part of it, yeah. That is...
like, I used to go to a comic book shop by I was there for the sports cards, for the baseball cards. But I mean, it was a comic book and sports card shop, and I just remember all the time just seeing all the there's a wall of comics, and the only one that sticks out in my mind is Batman holding Robin. The dark silhouette and all that.
Yeah. Well, that whole
say
era,
Death in the Family, didn't that what it say on the front too?
Yeah, that's when Joker kills Robin with a crowbar. And actually, so there's a whole people actually they had a contest, had people write in or call in. I think they had them call in. Yeah, I think it was because it was a 900 number. And you would call in and say if you wanted Robin to live or die in the comic.
Oh, so little choose your own adventure vibe.
Yeah.
For $1.99 per minute.
And people overwhelmingly decided that Robin should die.
Kill him.
Yeah. That Robin comes back as the Red Hood also. He comes back as a villain and then kind of reformed, and now he's kind of like a vigilante. Sometimes he's like a Punisher style.
What, do you get like Steve Austin surgery? Wasn't he dead?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably got tossed in that Ra's al Ghul pit that brings people back to life.
Ah. Hey, while we're on the subject, did you see ScarJo is suing, I think it's either Disney or Marvel?
Yeah. Well, I think, everybody who had a contract with Marvel, or rather Disney now, everybody who had a contract with Disney for a certain percentage of box office, or points as they refer to it, is suing Disney de rigueur. Like, there's just no way. As soon as your movie's out and you're done with your promotion, you're filing lawsuit against them to get your cut of what would have been the box office percentage if they just did box office.
I wish them luck against the Disney legal team. Have fun.
Well, I think that's the thing is I think Disney's going to settle on it, and I don't know how this works with the streaming. I paid $30 to watch it at home, and I got my $30 worth out of it. I've seen it twice now. And both of my kids have seen it once. No, actually, one of them's seen it twice as well. So that's like 5 movie tickets worth, right? That's way more than $30 right there. And I did it from the comfort of my own home. Would I have rather gone to the theater? Yeah, but my kids aren't comfortable. One of them's not vaccinated yet. Just wasn't there yet. But I don't know where that money goes, right? They have when you have points on a movie, that means that you get a certain percentage of the box office. That has nothing to do with streaming. Now, some of them do have other contracts that involve, any money that's made from streaming, I will get a piece of as well. But that's not generally the case, I don't believe. And, I don't think that it's necessarily everybody's acting all shocked, like Marvel representatives and Disney representatives are like, oh, well, we don't know. This is certainly coming out of nowhere. And ScarJo and her representatives are saying like, wow, we can't believe that Disney is acting all shocked over this. I think, everybody saw this coming. She is now probably one of the more high-profile people to sue Disney for this purpose, and probably the quickest turnover. I think that it was purposely done hot on the tails of the release, but they knew ScarJo. That's what I'm saying. Has known in advance going into this how this movie was going to come out.
Yeah. That's my gut is saying, you knew, you accepted the terms, negotiate a better deal with your next movie.
Well, no, I see this more, this is a contractual thing, right? To me, she was very professional about this. She didn't say shit about it while she was making the movie, and while she was making, I don't know if the decision was even made by then, but during the pre-production of this, she wasn't out there griping about this decision to release it simultaneously on streaming. And during the promotion, ramping up to the release of it, she didn't say anything about it. Now, she might have used a little bit of that heat to a week after its release announce her lawsuit, but to me, that's a very professional way to handle it, but still she had a dispute. Like, she feels like, if Disney stuck to its guns originally and just did a box office only release, then there's a strong case to be made that a large percentage of that money that Disney made on streaming from the premium access to this, that money would have gone to the box office instead. So Disney's decision to do the split release is undercutting a lot of the contracts that they had with their actors. And they were aware of this ahead of time, and with some of them, they made concessions to them and said, hey, we know you're taking a hit on this. Things are what they are. We need to get this movie out there. Here's a check to make up for the fact that you're going to lose out on your points. But, it sounds like that wasn't either enough money for all the parties involved, or not everybody. I don't know if ScarJo was offered that check, if she was offered anything.
I just think if it goes to court, it's going to be like, it's just going to be about the contract. Like, the terms,
well, yeah, it is
terms.
Well, no, but the contract is made with the understanding that this is a theatrical release, right? A movie theater, like, set aside streaming. We've had other ways to release movies outside of going straight to the movie theaters.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct, direct to DVD and direct to VHS types of releases. Now, if a big star does a contract with a company and says, hey, we're going to do this movie. It's going to be for this much money. Here's when it's going to release, and it's going to release in this many theaters at least, right? Those are the types of contracts that they sign. And that means that the studio can't just go halfway through, get cold feet, try and pull the plug on it, and go, let's take what we have and stuff it into a direct-to-DVD release that we can put this big star's name on, and we'll make a bunch of money off of it. And meanwhile, we'll sully the reputation of this actor and cut them out of making any profits out of the box office. So those sides of the contracts are to protect the artists and the artists' reputations, and make sure that they get the money that they were promised. So this does really sound like she's one of many actors who didn't get the money that she was promised for the work that was put in.
But it was still released in the theater. I mean, if it didn't do in the theater what you thought it was going to do, it's ask for more money from streaming.
But no, that's the thing. She doesn't get any money from streaming, from my understanding. And Disney has a direct decision in this, right? Disney's making the decision to do the dual release and undercut its own box office. So that's where the strength in ScarJo and many others' cases is going to be. And that's why I believe that they're settling all these cases. And I'm sure they're going to settle this one as well.
Well, again, I wish her luck against the Disney legal team. Because you might be Scarlett Johansson, but they're Disney.
Yeah, but what you have to factor into this is the fact that they're Disney, right? So while Disney is known about certainly being aggressive about certain things, protecting its image, protecting its IP, and protecting its money, certainly. But, its public image, they have to balance lawsuits like this with protecting their image. So, if they're going to have to dump, billions of dollars into ad campaigns to make everyone think of them as happy, family-friendly Disney again, because there's been nothing but a string of stories about people suing Disney for, quote-unquote, shorting them, that's a cost factor for Disney as well. So it doesn't always just equate to, we'll throw a bunch of lawyers at it and we'll just bury them in it. Like, it is in Disney's best interest, I think, to settle things like this.
I think either way, Disney will be fine.
Either way, Disney will be 100% fine. Do not even lose any sleep about it.
Although if I'm Scarlett Johansson, I'm probably not expecting any offers coming from Disney or Marvel anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, she's done with this anyway.
Wasn't she dead in the Marvel universe anyway? Didn't they kill her?
Yeah. And yeah, if there is any hope of this movie leading to something else, maybe there'll be a series of movies that will take place before that. No. There was no indication of that. There was a pretty clear handing off of the torch and retiring of that character in this movie.
From everything I've heard, it's going to be all about whoever Florence Pugh played.
Yeah, her sister.
Yeah.
Yes. She was in the Stinger scene being lined up for the new Dark Avengers team. So Scarlett Johansson, I mean, I think there's probably people who haven't filed lawsuits who feel like they've been screwed over by Disney. I'm sure there's many who aren't going to do that because they don't want to burn that bridge. I don't know what Scarlett Johansson has to lose by going up against Disney. I don't think she's going to tarnish her image with this lawsuit. I don't think it's going to keep her from getting work at another studio.
True. And if anything, it'll make her more vigilant on her contracts.
Yeah. And I think, frankly, if I'm Scarlett Johansson, I kind of want to put a nail in the coffin of this superhero business. I think that she is a talented actor. I've seen her do a lot of roles that I thought were really effective. There's only so much you can do with the superhero role, like Black Widow, and she's done a capable job and have made really fun movies. But move on, what do you want to be chummy with Marvel still for? Do you want, or Disney?
Because that's how actors get paid nowadays.
Well, sure, but she could work with just about anybody, I'm sure.
Oh, at this point in her career, absolutely.
Yeah, or produce her own movies, start directing. Make your own shit. You got to be a fucking multimillionaire by now. Even the least important Avenger has got to be a multimillionaire.
Did you hear Mark Ruffalo is the only person that wouldn't get a tattoo when they all did Endgame? Like, everyone in the cast went and got a tattoo to commemorate them being in the movie together, and Mark Ruffalo was the only person that wouldn't. And I just thought, that sounds so fucking on brand for him.
It does, but I wouldn't want... I don't have any tattoos. I don't know that I'd want to get a tattoo based on, everybody else in my peer group at the time is getting the same tattoo.
It just comes across. He just seems like he's a professional buzzkill, and that just plays right into it.
I guess.
He's in that category of people who would be exhausting to hang out with.
Here's the thing, though. You could have somebody do like an India ink or something. You can get like a non-permanent tattoo that would look pretty pro for a little while, right? And so he could have just gone and gotten a temporary that looked pretty legit, and they could have all posed for photos and enjoyed, their camaraderie or whatever. And then they go their separate ways, and then, his washes off in the shower in 2 weeks, and that's it. Doesn't have to be a statement.
Like when Tracy Jordan had his face tattoo.
Oh yeah, because he wasn't crazy enough. He was.
Yeah, when he said the tabloids were saying that he was normal, and that was part of his image. He had to be crazy. Got himself a face tattoo.
I have had some thoughts lately about getting an X-Men logo, though.
Why? Are you going to get a check from DC?
No, I just, there's reasons why the X-Men have remained that important to me throughout my life, and I don't know.
That's what I don't like. I know people who have the monster logo tattooed on them. Really, you get a check every month?
Right. Well, the X-Men is something where it's untarnishable in my mind. Doesn't matter what you do with them. People have tried all kinds of crazy stuff. There's been all kinds of weird writers that they've thrown at the X-Men. Some of it works. A lot of it hasn't. Doesn't matter. They're still what they are to me. And it's not like there's one day going to be a version of the X-Men that I'm just like, oh my God, I have to disassociate myself with that. And it's fun. It's a cool logo, man. Get a little X on my chest, pretend I'm Cyclops. Why not? This is as good as my body is going to look. I am probably in the best condition of my life right now, considering that, well, I mean, I could have some, disease lurking inside of me. Who knows? But physically, this is as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. And trust me, I like to think I've grown into my dad bod. Because, 15, 20 years ago, not really feeling too good about taking off my shirt around all my friends. Now, my one buddy's got a pool. I look probably the best of my friends with my shirt off.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take my shirt off. I look better than all you motherfuckers. Give your wives a little show. Hey, look, someone who's not completely and totally out of shape, just partially.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
With MailChimp, you get more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. With things like data-driven recommendations and powerful automation tools. Get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses.
Want to hear some inside scoop? If your kids are as ready to go back to school as mine are, you gotta check out Kohl's. I got my daughters the cutest Sotox for under $18, JanSport backpacks for 25% off, and 30% off Levi's jeans for me. I even saved an extra 15% and picked up Kohl's cash. So, yeah, not sure who's more excited right now, me or the girls. Select styles, 15% off ends August 15th. Levi's coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store Kohl's.com for details.
Anyone can be ready for back to school. But with Staples Connect, you can be more than ready. Like, I got everything from my classroom and saved a ton ready. We've got more backpacks, more pens, and more supplies than you ever thought possible. So, double knot your shoes, gas up the minivan, and smear war paint on your face. Staples has everything you need and more for the new school year. Let's do this. Just visit your nearest Staples store or go to staplesconnect.com for inspiration.
Okay, here are reasons to try a Nest mattress. 1, they have a mattress for every kind of sleeper. 2, Nest offers free exchanges within a 100-night trial. And 3, save hundreds on everything bedroom related now through the summer at nestbedding.com. With MailChimp, you get more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. With things like data-driven recommendations and powerful automation tools. Get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses.
Want to hear some inside scoop? If your kids are as ready to go back to school as mine are, you gotta check out Kohl's. I got my daughters the cutest Sotox for under $18, JanSport backpacks for 25% off, and 30% off Levi's jeans for me. I even saved an extra 15% and picked up Kohl's cash. So, yeah, not sure who's more excited right now, me or the girls. Select styles, 15% off ends August 15th. Levi's coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store Kohl's.com for details.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Oh, I forgot to bring up when we were talking about the Muppets earlier. Okay, so we've talked about this multiple times now, the Phenomena song, right?
Yes.
And I don't know that we ever figured out where that song came from. Like, I remember having the conversation about, it seemed like it was from something else.
I know Kate covered it.
But, in trying to research it, we couldn't find anything that predated that video of the Muppets, with the round mouse. Mm-hmm. Mouths. Can't say it. But I found...
Not right.
What?
This is not...
It's a slightly different version.
It sounds like it's like the demo version. Where's the real one from the Muppet Show?
Well, here. I'll send you the link of what I'm looking at.
All you have to type is the Muppet Show M, and then YouTube fills in the rest.
Right, but this has...
there it is.
This has another version of it, though, the one that I'm referring to. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, with the
I
Muppet
can tell.
Burnout.
Wait, is that his name?
No, it just looks like the Muppet version of a Burnout.
Oh, okay, the Muppet Burnout.
He's got on sunglasses. He's got scraggly hair and a beard. Looks like he's wearing an Angora sweater.
And there's no joke, right? I mean, what the joke is that like
It's
they
scat.
don't know when he's going to stop scatting
Yeah.
and go back to the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
So, where does the song come from, though? Originally, it was not written for that skit. It was purchased by the Muppets, by Jim Henson.
From who?
And he, I guess, just from a catalog. Like, you know, it just became a piece of. I don't know how they did it back in the 70s, but you know, you have music services now where you'll hear that shit all over the. Sometimes podcasts will use, you know, the same.
Oh, so it's
backing tracks and shit.
So it's cleared music.
Yeah, it's a piece of licensed music.
Gotcha.
That he purchased.
It's catalog music.
But yes, thank you. It's catalog music, but its original intention, it was written for a Swedish softcore porno film about lesbians. That apparently it would follow this film like follows these Swedish lesbians around into like you know, they'd go to like the steam bath or whatever.
Oh,
you know, and do some sapphic shit, massage each other. I know I sent you a link for it that has I think it has a little clip from the original Swedish film, and it's called Mana Mana.
I have the original 7-inch mix, according to YouTube.
Which is kind of funny because he should be saying like something like menage a trois, right? Like that, it seems like it should be a French song, and he should be saying menage a trois.
Piero Umiliani?
Oh, that is French name, huh? Okay, so he does kind of like scat throughout it, but it's got more melody to it than just the Burnout.
Well, it makes the Cake version make more sense, because the Cake version is more like that version.
Yeah, I remember hearing the Cake version. I'm like, so did they just figure there's no melody in this song? They'd make one up?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Are you watching the video?
No,
there's like...
Oh, is there porno in it?
There's like 14, 15 young Swedish girls here, all in the sauna, packed together. Oh, and it cuts out. Well, I think this requires further investigation. I'm gonna have to
further independent
I
investigation.
don't think we haven't quite cracked this. I'll get back to you.
One day my computer will bring it up.
I'll get my allotted in. My Harvard cock. Sorry, it's a. I can't now say Harvard cock without saying cock. It's become like, because I listen to too much of Penn Jillette's podcast, and every time Penn or somebody else says Harvard, they say cock.
Why?
And I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's just a thing. And now when I hear the word Harvard, my brain goes cock. They had a study that says that you should ejaculate at least 21 times a month for lower risk of prostate cancer.
Oh, I've heard this before. I remember hearing this on Loveline back in the
really?
day. Dr. Drew said, ejaculating regularly helps you avoid prostate cancer.
Yeah, they're putting a number on it.
21 times. So not even, so you can miss a week.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, this is good. Like, when it was just like regularly, I was like, I think I'm regular. You know, you don't know. You don't know if you're regular. When they put a number on it, you're like, oh, I'm well ahead of the curve. Oh, yeah, I got this prostate cancer down pat.
I should have the healthiest prostate in the world. Yeah. Doctor examined me, said, you will never get prostate cancer ever.
I'm doing my part for the team. I figure by my numbers, I'm keeping the averages down.
Right.
I don't know. Isn't that how math works? Something. So do you want to talk about Weezer, or should we talk about how Weezer's now a cover band?
We'll talk about Weezer for a second.
Because they're covering Metallica now with Enter Sandman. Now, here's the thing, Weezer. Like, I get it. It's, you know, there's a shtick going on here, right? But at a certain point, you're going to have to pick good songs to cover. Or else there's no reason for me to listen to any of this shit.
I feel I need to defend them on this choice because right now there is a Metallica album out celebrating 30 years of the Black Album, where a bunch of people are covering songs from the Black Album, and they may be a part of that project.
Okay. Well, yeah. Fair enough. But they are, I don't know.
Hey, I said this when they came out with the Teal album a few years ago. Weezer are all in their, if they're not 50, they're all pushing 50. They have figured out how to sell records to 20-year-olds again, and they're going to ride that fucking train.
I guess. Do they? I mean, sell records to 20-year-olds?
Yeah, the whole reason they covered Africa and they got a hit out of that is because someone on fucking YouTube kept asking them to do it. And so they put together a whole album of songs people had been begging them to cover. That's what the Teal album was.
Right.
And then it sold, and then they went, wow, we can make money off of this.
Yes, but what you're forgetting is that most people have no taste. That's why you're the musicians, not them.
Yeah, correction. However, they are musicians from 25 years ago. They are going to do what they're going to do to keep being musicians.
Yeah, I guess.
The reason why fucking Styx still plays the State Fair.
Yes. Yeah. No, and you know, we say this a lot, but like, no shade thrown on anybody who's making their money through music.
Yeah, especially 2021, because it was hard before. The internet was supposed to make it easier. The internet made it harder for musicians. It's easier to get your material out to people, but as far as making money, it has made it a lot harder.
Yeah. But Jesus, let somebody else cover fucking Enter Sandman, right? Let somebody who actually needs those numbers.
Also, too, if a band's going to cover,
like, take a deeper cut.
Take
Sad But True. That's a better song.
Yeah. It is on that album. It's
Oh yeah, St. Vincent's apparently doing a funk rendition of Sad But True.
Yep.
Can't wait.
There's a version of Nothing Else Matters with Elton John and Miley Cyrus.
I mean,
all right, let's just.
That Nothing Else Matters. That's either brilliant or a complete disaster.
I've heard her version of Nothing Else Matters. It's another song where when I hear her sing it, I go, it's time to lay off the cigarettes, Miley. I mean, it sounds like Weezer doing Enter Sandman.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that they don't do anything with the arrangement, really. Like, they use their Weezer guitars, you know, everything's got that pop punk sheen to it. And, you know, Rivers' vocals are Rivers' vocals. And then it's the exact arrangement.
He went, da.
Like, I don't know, you could take that riff and you could play with it a little bit. You could chunk it up like some 90s grunge, you know, or something. You could do something or anything with it, really.
So I have to hear the solo. Being a guitar player. Boo.
What?
Boo.
What? He played the chorus? Or not even. He played the verse. He was playing the verse melody. Wow, he didn't even try. Boo! He didn't even try. Well, I take that back to faithful arrangement comments.
Oh, boo. Boo. Come on.
My God, that
it's
was
not like he
pathetic.
sucks. That guy can play guitar. Brian, whatever his name is.
Yeah. Dude, they might as well have just had, like, somebody come in on, like, a penny whistle or something. Oh, that would be great if they had, like, you know, Jethro Tull. But what's the flute player's name? Is that guy still alive?
Ian Anderson?
Yeah, they had Ian Anderson come in and do the melody for that song.
I have to write the... My brain has to be righted. Come on. This is not hard. It's all pentatonic, it's all bends, it's all wah pedal. Yeah. When you tell your guitar teacher you want to learn a Metallica solo, this is arguably one of the first ones you're taught. Sorry, my brain couldn't take that. I had to hear that. It would be like I was holding in a fart for the rest of the show. It'd be that feeling.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it just kind of sounds like, you know, what if we retained none of the spirit of the original song and infused it with none of the life of our own songs and just made as a cookie cutter of a thing as we possibly could?
Well, it also might be the shtick of that album. Let's see, who else is on this? It's called.
I don't think so, because like they were saying, you know, St. Vincent is doing a funk rendition of Sad But True. I don't know if that sounds good.
There's many versions by many artists of all these songs. There's
okay.
3 different versions.
Oh, Jesus. Why did they... Oh. Like, get an editor, you know, pick the best ones and just release it as, like, you know, a 1-to-1, like... I don't know, that's... Ghost Juanes. Rena... Who are these people? There's 4 different versions, 5, 6 different versions of Enter Sandman. Who could ever want to listen to that many?
Yeah, pick the best one. Yeah.
I don't know who... Oh, there's some Neptunes. Portugal the Man.
The Neptunes? That's Pharrell.
Volbeat. Yeah. Phoebe Bridgers. A lot of these I don't know who they are, and I'm hoping that they've got some metal acts in here.
Like, first of all, this is way too low. I know she's got a low voice for a woman, but this is way too low for her. Like, I know she's not a soprano, like most chicks are.
But pick a different song, then. Nope.
Volbeat, they're a metal band, allegedly. Let's hear how they do Don't Tread on Me. But to me, Volbeat is one of those bands of the last 10, 15 years where it sounds like the same rock producers making all the same song.
I don't know if I... So it's Volbeat and not the Volbeats.
No, just Volbeat.
Right. Yeah, different band. All right.
Whoa, this isn't even the same riff. Oh, okay, all right. Sounds like Volbeat.
Yeah, but so this sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their sound is like, but this sounds like they're definitely making it their own.
They sound like this.
Yeah, but it it still sounds like it has the spirit of a good Metallica song.
Till right here. They just wrote another course. It's not...
Wow.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I didn't recognize that at all.
Yeah.
That did not sound like Metallica either.
Gross. Everything on this...
Yeah, this is a bloated cash grab. Like, if you really wanted to honor this album, you would do, like I was saying, a 1-to-1, and then, sure, maybe...
Oh, here you go.
Also release the box set, or I don't know. No, you don't release any of this shit. You know what? You let them have... What you do is you go, okay, sorry, Volbeats, we didn't take your song for the comp, but you can keep the recording and you can throw it on the B-side for your next single.
Yeah.
Because, you see shit like that all the time. They'll do some big David Bowie tribute. And I'm sure they take, everybody wants to be on something like that. Not everybody gets their track on there. But they'll still pop up down the line.
Or how about, people we've heard of? I know we're in our 40s, but, I mean...
I don't know. Like,
1,
you gotta have
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've only heard of 6 of these artists.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who most of these people are. I was only hoping that they're majority metal acts because that's who they should be focusing on.
There's a country guy in here.
But I'm glad to see that there's a lot of names on here that I don't know. I mean, that's the actually only good thing about this being so bloated.
Ugh. There's probably no hope for the solo on this one at all.
Yeah, but they should have... I mean, all you got to do is, shuffle that beat a little bit.
Yeah.
And make it a little more country. And, this sounds like you just told your band to play like Metallica.
Yeah. I'm really... I'm going to be so let down with the solo for this comes. This is arguably one of my favorite Kirk Hammett solos. I can feel that I'm going to be let down.
It's going to be a fiddle. Oh.
I mean, nice try.
But they're trying to stay to the original solo, it sounds like.
That's not the original solo.
No, I know it's not, but...
You're supposed to be bending on the 24th fret right now. Damn it.
Fiddlers don't have that many frets.
Well, there's a guitar player in the band the last time I checked. Play the damn solo. What a disappointing collection of covers.
Yeah. I don't know. There might be something worth listening to in there, but who has the time to wade through 68 different
versions of the same songs? Yes.
Just to find one that's that's interesting. And then what? You're going to listen to that over the Metallica album? Not likely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't listen to the Metallica album that much, but...
Yeah, when it comes up, it's usually the old stuff.
The stuff that I go back to now, yeah, I want to hear, you know, Master of Puppets. I want to hear some stuff from Garage Days. That stuff has, like, a lot of just great energy to it.
This is like his tastiest solo we ever wrote.
And, you know, I'd argue they had some more adventurous arrangements in their earlier stuff. They kind of streamlined and went for more of a pop approach later on.
Yeah.
Not to knock it though. Like, when this album came out, you know, it was huge because, you know, you get to think about what was coming out at the time. We're getting Nevermind and, you know, Siamese Dream and Bad Motorfinger and 10 and all these albums that were like, quote unquote, redefining rock. And Metallica was like, here's another one of us doing our shit, man. This is how we do it. You know, they've since tried to change their sound up, but this album was that, I don't think of this as like their grunge era album. I mean, it was, but it's not like was. Right. They didn't change the sound. They just made the next evolution from And Justice for All, right?
And what's funny is they did change metal with this album. Like, it definitely, like, yeah. I know this in the Metallica.
They brought new life into it.
I know in the Metallica universe, this album is a line for a lot of people. Like, I know for people older than me, that fuck that album. And for people my age and younger, like, to me, if this album never exists, I never get into Metallica and then start going backwards.
I don't know where those people are coming from, because to me, Metallica's career makes perfect sense from the beginning up to the Black Album and then goes completely off the rails.
Well, after the Black Album, it became, okay, this is our career now, we have to sell albums. Like, after the Black Album, they became Metallica, the company.
Artistically, the development of their sound was pretty linear, and I mean that in a complimentary way, in ways that bands can't always achieve. Have long-standing success, have a loyal fan base that takes you over decades, manage to evolve your sound over decades so that you're not always just playing the old shit at your shows, and to make that evolution without really having to sell out or change or make conscious changes to your sound in order to try and broaden your appeal in any way. It seems completely organic.
Yeah. Load
and
Load
after that, it just stops.
Said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Load is rock they came up with in a board. I mean, I remember there was I forget, it was some kind of documentary, and I think it might have even been about them recording Load or whatever, and it was a video of someone with Lars, and they asked him, or maybe it was even something I read in a guitar magazine, but essentially they were listening to the mixes, and he was asked what he thought, and he said, well, as long as it can pay the mortgage, sounds good to me. I mean, that's kind of where they were after the Black Album. That's the headspace they were in. It became Metallica Incorporated.
Yep.
You know, but I mean, the Black Album came out when I was 12 years old. I mean, as far as my mind.
Seminal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what is this? Up until then, I've been given the impression, because of MTV and all this shit, all heavy metal was fucking Winger and Motley Crue and Poison. And then I hear this and I'm like, what? This can be heavy metal too? You know, and then of course you start going backwards. Wait, there's 4 more albums? Yeah, I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah. So that was... Yeah, you're starting from the Black Album and working your way back. I had my friend Derek, different Derek than I've mentioned before, but one that I knew when I was in junior high, when I first moved to a new school, and he knew all about metal. He introduced me to like Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and the Violent Femmes. And
of course.
Also, and Too Short and Andrew Dice Clay albums.
This guy's like the 90s with a pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. Yeah, I was into Metallica. I had already went through my phase where I was really into Metallica and had outgrown that. And I was now on to like, no, it's fucking grunge and like techno. And then that album came out, and that's how good that album is. It like cut through all of that when I was still like, oh wow, like they're back and this fucking shit is good.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't just immediately toss it away because, oh no, I've got Smashing Pumpkins now. But, you know, if the songs weren't there, if the sound wasn't there, I would have easily done that. So I don't know. And by breathing new life into metal, I'm not saying that, like, you know, it's not like there's huge metal, all the huge metal acts, you know, I don't know how big they are, but there's some that have, like, good followings. They have, you know, they tour, they play big places, but it's not like, you know, selling millions upon millions of records or anything. But just, I think the spirit of metal, it helped keep that spirit alive all over the world. And the thing is like, I think no matter where you go, not just in America, but in a lot of places in the world, there's people playing metal for like nothing, you know? It's just their hobby. They just love it. They're dumping, you know, hundreds of thousands, sometimes thousands of dollars into oversized rigs or too many drums or, you know, special triggers that allow them to play the kick drum super, super fast. And they're taking it super seriously, but only up to a point.
It taps into something that people don't realize. It's visceral.
Yeah. And it, you know, there's scenes all over the place. And it's just, I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Nope.
You know, like even punk comes and goes. And
as long as you have angry teenagers, you will have metal.
But yeah, but punk also gets, you know, it's morphed into so many different things. You go to if you go to a festival show billed as punk, like, you don't know what you're going to see. But metal, you pretty much know what you're going to see, and you're not going to leave disappointed. And these shows are fun. You know, I wouldn't buy their records. I wouldn't listen to them on the way fucking home. But seeing them there live, fucking sweating it out, just pouring their heart into these instruments, man, there's a passion, and it's infectious, and the crowds love it, and these shows are just fucking a riot.
There's a reason why after 25, I mean, I know they're not a metal band, but it's in the same vein. There's a reason after 25 years the Foo Fighters are still going strong. People love a good rock band.
Yeah.
A good rock band live, a good rock band who writes good songs. A good band is a good band. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of staying power in the next few years I really think like the 90s and up to like 2005 was probably the last great period of rock music as far as people that were developed with staying. That was because to me 2005 is about the line where artists started just being developed for. I mean, I know there was always that quick score, right? You know, especially in pop music, you know.
Sure.
You sign somebody, you get a song out of them next. But they're not signing career artists anymore. They're not signing artists where, you get like a number of album, you know, deal, and we develop you. We make you into a career artist. I don't think, at least in rock music, you're not seeing those anymore. They're doing that with pop artists still. But I don't think they're doing it with actual musicians anymore. Maybe on the country side of things. But
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's pretty big business. The country music, I mean.
Well, yeah, because when I was working at the country station, half of those people, you could tell that they were going to be pop artists, but their label switched it up. Said, why don't you try country? You'll probably sell more albums. You know, so it's just you don't see that with rock music. It doesn't seem like there's any, like a half of these bands are going to be around. They're going to stand the test of time.
What you don't see is like, you know, a local show at your bar, you know, at the local corner bar that's like $5 and it's a bunch of boy bands, right? And they're just nobody sweating it out, making pop songs with their synthesizers and doing their dance moves and just doing it for the love of it,
and
right?
By the way, you never saw that ever.
Ever. Anywhere, ever. It never happened, right? Like, think about the music that actually gets played just for the love of it. And metal is way up there.
Yeah.
Hip-hop is way up there. You know, techno, super way up there.
The Backstreet Boys weren't 5 dudes just kicking around Florida. All right, they were put together. You know, NSYNC wasn't hitting dive bars on the weekend.
Christina Aguilera is like cutting her shirts in half and standing on the corner grinding for like people throwing dollars in a hat. You know, like that. No,
I think it's unfair to pick on her because she actually can sing. Britney Spears, yes.
All right.
Aguilera actually has chops.
Fair enough. So yeah, weed. One story.
Before we get out of here,
did we? Like, I think last week we had mentioned that there was that trucker that came through the Canadian border into Detroit, and he had like over 2,000 pounds of cannabis in his truck. So that guy, he spent the last like week and a half in jail, and his lawyer got him off. The charges have been dropped.
Nice.
Because they couldn't actually prove that he had any knowledge of what he was picking up.
Oh, there you go.
It seems to be that the people who arranged the pickup of the cannabis had hacked into the driver's system and placed an order for some like truck parts or something to be moved from Canada to Detroit. And that's what the driver thought he was taking.
So he didn't know.
Yep.
I was dispatched to pick up a truck and drive it somewhere.
Yep. Mr. Singh has said, I had not done anything wrong. And his lawyer, Michaels, says he had no knowledge of what was in his truck. And I guess the judge agreed and the charges are dropped. So
now that guy's having a big party.
Well, I hope so.
With 2,500 pounds of weed at it.
Yeah. And I hope he still has his truck driving job too.
Yeah.
I imagine so.
Well, good for him.
So there you go. That's what happened in cannabis. Oh, Ohio appears to be throwing together some legalization efforts as well, too, both on the legislative side and on the voter initiative. Not a lot of hope for the voter initiative. They've tried that before. Let's see what happens. If you're an Ohio voter, you might want to call your representatives and tell them, hey, if you're mulling over this cannabis legalization thing, it's something that I support. Or hit them up on Twitter, whatever you do to your representatives these days.
Yeah, right. Do you still call them? Is that still a thing? Do they still tell you to call your congressman?
Imagine they still have landlines, but probably just go straight to an automated service.
All right. So is that it?
That's it.
Our 2 bits of weed news?
A couple little nuggets for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at the Weisman420. We're on Instagram at the Weisman Podcast. You can email the Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net if you'd like to drop us a line. Head to ChristopherMedia.net, hit the PayPal button or the Amazon banner if you'd like to help us out. And wherever you listen to us, please rate us and review us. That helps people find us. If you like the podcast, let us know. And the best way to do that and help us is to rate us and review us. So thank you for listening and stay high.
Stay high. Oh, boy.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
With MailChimp, you get a whole lot more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. That means you can connect your data to make more informed, smarter decisions. And you get powerful automation tools like our Customer Journey Builder to ensure you never miss an opportunity to turn shoppers into loyal customers. So if you're ready to integrate your marketing and boost sales, get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses. With MailChimp, you get a whole lot more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. That means you can connect your data to make more informed, smarter decisions. And you get powerful automation tools like our Customer Journey Builder to ensure you never miss an opportunity to turn shoppers into loyal customers. So if you're ready to integrate your marketing and boost sales, get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.